Greetings, everyone. It is I, the Nomad from the Wastelands. Today, I have two guest hosts. Batman is with us. Say hello, Batman.
Hello, Batman.
And hello, Maddie. Say hello.
Hey, Ro.
And
I'm
I
not
also
repeating all
have
of
as a
that.
guest for the moment Sherardi, unless Sherardi wants to nope out.
I'm so tired.
Well, you should have stayed in the regeneration alcove a little longer.
I just need a battery charger. Give me a minute.
But we have news, and it's the news of the week. All right, we're just going to do a quick wrap up of different stories that I encountered over the news. Of course, we're going to start with the one big news of the day, which is the Trump damning indictment, says the Daily Beast. All right, he
Is
says
this
shows Trump knew and hid documents in a shower.
is this a spoof article?
I wonder. Did they get wet?
He didn't put it in the show. You can see that obviously this is during a moving where people are just throwing boxes everywhere. All right, former President Donald Trump's federal indictment is a scathing 44-page read that opens with the assertion that his post-presidency Trump flagrantly, yes, Manny, I know, flagrantly violated the very national security laws that he used to propel himself to the White House in 2016.
Dun dun dun.
Okay.
Are you talking about when his pool got drained and he got all his basement got all wet?
No. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Girardi.
I thought they were yelling at him for that again.
No. They indicted him for the Mar-a-Lago. He had secret documents at Mar-a-Lago, and the National Archives was upset. Really?
My question is, when are they going to go after Biden for the same thing, Mr. Senator, hiding shit in my garage behind my sports car?
Yeah. Well,
When are they gonna go after Hillary Clinton for doing the same fucking thing?
Yeah.
When are they going to go? When are they going to sit up there in charge and prosecute Pence for that? Because they found documents in Pence's hands.
Yep.
This
And
is
I'm pretty sure
this
he
is
himself admitted
obviously this is obviously a hit job. All right, this is obviously we don't have we have a bifurcated country now. We have a bifurcated country due to the fact that they have a two-tier justice system. If you're a conservative, they don't care. They will go after you. They'll make up stories. All right. They came
No,
back with salacious. Go ahead.
You have a multi-tiered justice system, the same as everywhere else in the West.
No.
Depending on where you stand on the on the victimhood scale, depends on how the justice system treats you. The higher up the scale you are, the more lenient the justice system treats you.
No, I don't think that's true.
In this country, it's the further left you lean, the more lenient they treat you.
Yeah.
Because the Democrats have something, and I'm going to coin this Maddieism. They have democratic immunity as opposed to GOP persecutory problems.
I think they've got intellectual immunity.
Well,
they're intellectually bankrupt.
They're
immune from
but
intellect.
The press is morally bankrupt, which is why this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Press has always been morally bankrupt.
Yeah. I mean, them and the politicians together. So when they work together, this is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, but it's especially bad now. It hasn't been this bad, and it's getting worse because people refuse to admit they were wrong because people refuse to admit what has been happening, and that's why you're having what all the rest of the problems that we're having going on to this. If you want to bitch about Trump and the things that he's done and so forth, fine and dandy. But you can't just absolutely ignore what Biden was doing. And Biden wasn't president when he was stashing all that classified information.
No, right? He did it from way back when he was a senator.
In Biden's defense, before he was president, he didn't realize he was stashing away that information.
Yes, he did.
He thought he was playing hide and seek because his brain was going that even
Where
back
his
then.
brain is today is not where his brain was 30 years ago.
No.
That's where these
Hmm.
documents go back to with Biden.
Well, I'd like to say you're wrong here, Nemesis Nomad. When I get your name right, but I'm not going to because you're not.
Right?
Excuse me, sir. Quit appropriating my brain. One of us with a messed up
I'm
brain.
old. I've got just as good an excuse as you.
Have you seen videos of him talking 30 years ago?
Yeah.
He actually knew how to use words back then. Now he doesn't know his left from his right.
Outside of the United States 30 years ago, nobody had ever heard of him.
He was a danger
True.
then. He's a danger now. He was a racist then. He's a racist now. It still hasn't fixed anything. All right. All
Well, I
it's
like
doing is making
Still
things worse.
full
They're talking about how great
steam.
the economy is. I'm serious. They went out of the
our
way
economy's
to
doing
once
better.
again this week talk about how great the economy is. Put out a thing about how he's kept the economy going. I don't know. Have you seen the prices of food lately, folks?
Yeah.
Nomad,
Eh,
Nomad. The UK's economy is doing better than the United States at the moment, and
Mm-hmm.
our economy's being mismanaged. We're doing better than Europe is as well.
Well, the problem is that they're trying to manage our economy, and that's the problem. Let's talk about the other couple big stories. I'm sure everyone heard about the dam being breached over in Ukraine, and we have this story
Nope.
from the French news agency.
Wait, you listen
I've
to
got
the
two. Hold on, I've got two comments to make on this dam being breached in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know, don't care.
Okay. You gonna
I
say
hope it
something?
freezes over.
No, I'm just listening.
All right. The Kharkov, the Kakharov, however it's pronounced, dam breach. All right, a
Kakovka.
hard blow to the Ukrainian counteroffensive. The destruction Tuesday of the dam near the town of Kherson has been seen by some as a strategic blow to the Ukrainian counteroffensive plans that have been in the works for months, close to a year. All right, but crossing the Dnieper River is not the only way the Ukraine can regain territories occupied by Russia. And then following on with that story is this one from CNN, where they started to admit a few things. Ukrainian forces suffer stiff resistance and losses in assault on the Russian lines. Ukrainian forces have suffered losses in heavy equipment and soldiers as they met greater than expected resistance from Russian forces in their first attempt to breach the Russian lines in the east of the country in recent days.
From what I've heard about the Ukrainian forces, they're hardly what you'd actually call soldiers. Whereas the Russians have actually gone to bother of, training their troops.
Well, I don't know about so much of training their troops. Handing them a bottle of vodka and telling them, "Here, go fire the AK-47 for a few minutes."
That's more training than the Ukrainians had.
Perhaps, but that isn't really what I would call training, though, either, Batman.
No.
I'm not saying that the Russians aren't training their soldiers, but they're the Russians. The Russian training of their soldiers, what they're throwing into this mix, all right, is horrific. Okay, let's be
basically
perfectly
the
blunt.
same level as the Argentinians, which occupied the Falkland Islands. Yeah, young guys dragged off the streets, put into a uniform.
Well, yeah. You're getting a lot of that, but you got to remember something here. The Russians, for all the things that people want to talk about, this is essentially a civil war in Russia. Okay, and people have got to understand it from that standpoint.
Well,
I'm not saying that the Ukrainians go. I'm not saying that
Ukraine wasn't part of Russia before the Soviet Union.
What do you mean it wasn't part of Russia before the Soviet Union? Yes, it was.
It was part of the Russian Empire. There's a difference. They were still distinct.
It was
when
not
the Soviet Union came.
When was the Ukraine a distinct country prior to the 1900s?
Like I said, it was before it got absorbed into this the Russian Empire.
It was never a country. It is ethnically distinct, I will admit that. But in fact, the Russian Empire was really, at that time, had its roots from Kiev, which is the capital of Ukraine. Okay? They have more in common. The Russian Empire had more in common with Ukrainians.
Yeah, they're just as different from each other as we are as the English are from the Scottish or the Welsh or the Irish, i.e., not very.
All right, but the biggest problem that the Ukrainians have is defensible borders. Okay, one of the things that when people talk about ethnicities and ethnicities should determine whether or not there should be a nationality, that doesn't work. If that's your strict criteria, all right, nations would fall apart. And the reason for it is because you got to have defensible borders in order to totally declare yourself an independent nation. Or am I missing something?
It does work in certain places, like where the ethnicity and the geography work, like in certain parts of Africa, which the European powers, when they set up the countries there, didn't take into consideration and looked to warring ethnicities into one country. That's why you get all that trouble in these African countries now.
Well, I agree, but you still, in order to be an independent nation, it isn't just you got to have defensible borders, and you got to be willing to defend them. That's what this fight right now is really all about.
The problem with Eastern Europe, especially where Russia and the Ukraine are, and like Georgia and places like that, is for the most part it's a flat fucking plain.
Yeah.
The only borders you get there are the ones drawn on fucking maps.
And that's true. And that's where this fighting is. But this counteroffensive that the Ukrainians have been planning for close to a year, right? That they all vaunted about how they were going to go on the attack against the Russians. Okay,
and the rest of the world
been, and you initially there was a lot of press reports about how great it was going and how good it was doing. It hasn't done anything. It hasn't made a major breakthrough anywhere along the lines. And that dam being destroyed was one of the biggest preventions of their counteroffensive that could be done.
You know how they can solve it all. They get how they can solve it all. And Putin would be up for this. Boxing ring, right? Or rather, a cage match. Putin versus Zelensky. Winner take all. Because I think Putin would take. I think Putin would take him apart.
Perhaps, but Putin is also very sick. So I mean, I don't know if that's going to be the case. He's also over 70.
Well, use one of his clones.
He's one of his clones. I don't think it's going to work that way, Batman. I really don't.
What about that one? That would be a match I would pay to see. Pay-per-view match. Putin versus Biden. Cage match.
What? Biden falls down and Putin stands on him?
Right?
That's how that would go.
I was about to say. In this corner, ka-thump, and Putin wins.
That's exactly what would happen.
Either that or Biden would bite Putin and Putin would get infected with the zombie virus.
I mean, anybody can predict a cage match with whoever. Hell, a kitten would beat Biden. All he had to do is sit there and meow. Biden fall flat on his face.
Look, Biden.
No, actually, it would be even worse than that. Yeah, the guy would ring the bell and Biden would start doing a victory lap.
The sad part is, in the United States today, Biden is in control of the country. The oligarchy.
He's not.
From the DNC is in control, and it is driving these things.
It's
driving us into the ground.
Biden's not even in control of his own bladder.
No, that's true, but it doesn't help the oligarchy. Like I said, the oligarchy is in control, and they are determined to ruin this country for their own sake, for their own power, and it's becoming obvious. Here's another example of it. Mayor Adams, the New York City mayor, right, sues most of New York Suburban and upstate counties have been suing New York City over busing asylum seekers to its communities. On Wednesday, Mayor Eric Adams sued back. Adams, buoyed by a federal court ruling Tuesday, sued 30 of the 57 counties outside the city over their issuance of emergency orders aimed at blocking migrants from moving into their jurisdictions. But see, Adams wasn't done with that stupid shit. He was busy trying to do this. Adams says migrants should be housed in private residences as many buildings have spare rooms.
I bet he's not going to let her into his home.
All right, Mayor Eric Adams has suggested putting migrants in private residences to deal with the influx of economic dependence seekers in the Big Apple. The statement came while Adams announced a partnership with the New York Houses of Worship to give migrants a place to stay across the city. It is my vision to take the next step to the faith-based locales and to move to private residences. They have spare rooms. Hey, Mayor Adams, you first. There's lots of flipping empty rooms. All right, not only in your private residencies, because you're not there. You're busy in the frickin' mayor's mansion, and that mayor's mansion that you live in has plenty of frickin' space.
He won't do it. We've got the asylum lovers over here. We should house migrants, but not anywhere near where I live.
Well, that's why he's shipping them out.
That's why France has been.
And the size of the room. What are you going to do? Stick them in a closet? You know, they got plenty of spare rooms. Well, what? 2 in the bathroom, 3 in the closet.
No, I think what we should do, especially here in the UK, is we should house them all on these floating hotel barges, right? Buy them off the companies that own them at a fair price, right? Not a price that gives the company a profit, obviously, but a fair price, like the price they paid for it. House all the migrants in them, right? And then let's say they accidentally end up in submarine weapon testing grounds.
Look, you want migrants to come to this country?
He missed that bit, didn't he?
You want migrants in this country? I got a solution.
I want migrants on barges in submarine testing grounds.
Well, I don't want them on barges. I want them underground digging tunnels. There's a lot of work that needs to happen in the subways in New York City.
What I'm saying. I want them on barges in submarine testing grounds.
I know what you want. I heard you, right? I just want them to work. I want them to put them to work. Have you seen?
There's only one kind of work they know.
They're just living off the tax dollars and the food of the regular people. I want them. Look, you want to come here? You want to come to the United States? You want the American dream? Well, right there's your pick. Right there's your shovel. Get down into the tunnels. We're going to have a subway system from one half of this country all the way to the other half. Get to work.
No, but that's the thing. The ones who do the paperwork have the correct documents and enter any given country legally. Would happily do that.
Yeah.
I'm on about the illegal ones. They not only don't want to work, they can't work. The only work they know how to do is mugging people, killing people, and stealing shit.
Okay. To give them a fair shake, yes, there are the criminal elements that are coming over illegal. And then there are the parents, questionable or not in their parentage, sending their children over by ourselves by using coyotes to illegally immigrate the children over here into the United States. But that being said, okay, yes, there are upstanding human beings that are crossing the border illegally, yes, thereby breaking laws to get here because where they live is an actual shithole, and I understand that. But they're already breaking the first law by getting here. Second of all, they're pissing off all the migrants that have already come here legally and are still going through all the paperwork to become an actual citizen and get sworn in as a citizen. So all this bullshit is pissing them off even more. My whole thing with this whole situation is people are refusing to understand what is brain work. The difference between coming here in order to have a leg up economically and actually make a life for yourself and fleeing an oppressive government. The people that are coming here from Venezuela that are asking for asylum are perfectly eligible for the asylum because it is the government that is oppressing them. It is the government that is starving them. It is the government that is abusing them. Anybody else coming to this country from Central or South America just because they want to reap the opportunities that the United States has to, that you can benefit from, they are not eligible for asylum, in my opinion, because they are not being prosecuted by their countries. Now, people will sit here and argue, and they will say Mexico. The Mexican government is not oppressing their people.
The cartels are.
Yes, the cartels are. That's the difference. You can't give
The
asylum to
cartels
somebody
run
who's
the
being...
government in Mexico.
Yes, but the problem is, as long as that is not, you know as well as I do, as long as it is not publicly acknowledged, then it's not something to be approved by asylum, for asylum seekers in the United States. That's the crux of the matter.
While I agree with everything you said, Maddie, the thing is, the people fleeing their oppressive governments and countries aren't the ones you want in your countries. You want the people who are staying there to fight against that stuff.
Why?
To
That's
come
why
over.
it's.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear we need an overhaul for our immigration system. And it needs to start with the screenings of if they want to come over here and become a citizen, it's what do you have to offer to this country? Because we have enough people on the government dole welfare wise. We're spending money we don't have because they keep printing it like it's never going to run out. And Greece did that, look at them. But I digress. We need to start doing immigration criteria according to, how productive the person is going to be in the country and not a burden to this particular country and this country's
Infrastructure.
economy. Right,
Well,
infrastructure.
When I was a young man, you know what I wanted to do, but unfortunately I couldn't afford to. I wanted to move to the United States, and I'd already picked out where I wanted to work. I wanted to work with the National Park Service.
Yeah.
Park ranger.
He wanted to euthanize buffalo.
No, you see, look at it. You get like Yellowstone, for example.
Yeah, where
you get one buffaloes. You get one of those towers to live in, right? And keep an eye on the place. You've got wonderful scenery, right? Yeah, you've got an interesting job. You've got no people bothering you. And when tourist season comes up, you can just put a warning sign on the gate, stop people entering, saying, you've got. I'm sorry, but we've got a cougar wandering around that appears to be rabid. We can't let anybody in the park at the moment.
Shot Omar
and you come up with different.
At least when Omar came here, she was actually fleeing oppression.
The thing is, you can make up different excuses all the time just to keep people out the parks.
Yeah.
It would be a wonderful job. No, seriously though, I would love to have been a park ranger in somewhere like Yellowstone.
Yeah, but the thing about this is we have to seal the borders first.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to just let the borders stay open like a sieve, there is no incentive for these people to do it the right way.
No, there isn't.
And so
it hasn't been for a while.
And that's what has to come first. And I'm going to be real blunt. The only way to seal that border, all right, is either build a big freaking wall, all right, on the southern border, or, and I'm going to be real blunt, you invade a mile inside of freaking Mexico and you set up a freaking demilitarized zone run by your military.
No, you set up a minefield.
You can't.
You set up a no man's land, right?
Hi, Chris. Hi, Sean.
You don't use it. You don't move the U.S. border any further south.
Dark Star.
You set up a no man's land, right? So the Mexican border's being moved. A mile south.
And
in that no man's land, hold on. In that no man's land, you set a minefield, right? And every few miles across the border, you've got a sign in Spanish saying, "We dare you."
I don't realize you think you realize just how long the border is with Mexico.
Yeah, I kind of do. I don't care. I wouldn't be paying for it.
Okay. I just don't. That many mines. There's one thing if you're mining like the DMZ in Korea, which they basically mine the holy crap out of, right?
Yeah.
That's not even that wouldn't even get you out of the state of New Mexico, border with Mexico.
Like I said, I don't care. I wouldn't be paying for it.
No, it's like it's when all this shit. First of all, all the immigration and stuff. The first thing they did back in the Obama administration was they rescinded wet foot, dry foot. And for those of you that don't remember what wet foot, dry foot is, or don't know what it is, it was instituted, I think, during Kennedy's time while the Cuban nationals were fleeing the island. If they were able to put 1 foot on U.S. dry land and get a sponsor, they were able to immigrate over here and they were given asylum because of what the Castro regime was doing. Obama rescinded that. With the mass influx of immigration after, what was it? With Mayorkas now in charge of all the Homeland Security or whatever the fuck he's in charge of now, the first thing he did was he banned, now, not the Mexicans, not anybody from Central America, not anybody from Haiti. He banned the Cubans from coming into the United States. He said they were not allowed in any way, shape, form, or fashion under any circumstances whatsoever. And he's Cuban.
Yeah, you've got to admire you've got to respect Obama though. I mean, he made history. He was the United States' first Nigerian Muslim president.
Anyway, let's talk about Seattle for a moment, because Seattle's
You
a
mean
nice
Seattle?
hellscape.
You mean
Seattle
Cecil?
City Council narrowly rejects drug prosecution bill. In a 5-4 vote
Cecil.
Tuesday, the Seattle City Council rejected a bill that would have given the city attorney the authority to prosecute drug possession and public use cases following nearly 3 hours of public comment. The legislation would have adopted into the city's criminal code the state's recent law criminalizing possession and making public use of drugs a gross misdemeanor, giving the city attorney the ability to prosecute those arrests. Without adopting the bill, Seattle police will still be able to make arrests under the new state law, but prosecutions will fall to the King County prosecutor. In other words, no prosecution.
Right.
We're making up a law that does
drug
exactly
as you want.
Because
more spots on the poop map. Oh, sorry.
Because that's where Seattle is right now. Because Seattle now is in a world of hurt because their biggest employer has downsized down to almost zero. All right, in comparison to what it was, and that was Boeing. When Boeing moved their headquarters, they started to downsize, and they have almost completed it now. Now Seattle is turning into frickin' Portland. And nobody wants to live there. Nobody wants to work there. I can tell you right now, my company is begging for certain jobs that require people to work in Seattle, in the Seattle area. They are begging people. And no one who gets the job stays around for more than 2 weeks. And it's been like that for a while.
Don't blame him.
Hey, Sean's got the right idea.
Put bells on it. Or you talk about the minefield bouncing betties? No, you don't need. All right, if you sit up there and set it up so that our military is patrolling the border, which it could do, okay, we wouldn't be having this problem. I have a realistic solution, not one that's going to get a bunch of people killed, but a bunch of it'll stop a lot of the drug trade, and it would stop a lot of the illegal immigration into this country that way. It wouldn't stop it all because there's always ways around it. But I guarantee if you had people from what do they call, what do they change Fort Hood to? Fort Believe or something like that? Well, I'm serious. They changed the name of Fort Hood to like Fort Believe or something. I can't remember what the hell they called it.
Fort Love.
Right. If you had them patrolling back and forth along that border in Texas, you wouldn't have this problem. If you took the soldiers from Fort Bliss and had them patrolling the New Mexico side of that border, you wouldn't have this problem. If you take the soldiers out of Fort Huachuca and had them patrolling the Arizona border, you wouldn't have this problem. Okay?
Seriously, Fort Bliss.
Yes. There's Fort Bliss, Texas. It's right on the border of Texas and New Mexico.
A stupid name for a fort. A fort's supposed to be a place where soldiers live, not fucking hippie monks.
It's not a hippie monks. It's right outside of El Paso. For those who don't know.
So why isn't it called Gunslinger?
Why isn't it called Gunslinger? I didn't name it.
Because guns are scary. Okay.
There was a staff sergeant that got busted running drugs and people across the border. Oh, you're gonna get that. Okay, that will happen. Okay,
That's the American
because
version
there
of
are
it.
because those things do it, but it won't be the hundreds of thousands of people every week that's coming into this country. It won't be hundreds of thousands.
That's the American version of a colour sergeant, isn't it?
I don't know what a color sergeant is.
One step below sergeant major.
No, that's 2 steps below sergeant major. Well, sergeant major is
Staff
an E9.
Because
E8 is a master sergeant or a first sergeant. E7 is a sergeant first class, and then you have staff sergeant, and then you have sergeant.
maybe misremember, but I think it's a sergeant, colour sergeant, sergeant major. Then you get the regimental sergeant major.
Yeah, your rank structure does not mirror ours. But by the way, Seattle wasn't the only place that has a problem in New York, or with drugs rather. Now, it's a surprise to no one.
Excuse me a minute, Matt. For that comment, I'm going to find where you live. I'm coming over there, and I'm going to torture you before I kill you.
It's a sergeant of color. Color sergeant's a sergeant of color. Surprise, surprise! New York City's first safe drug and sex vending machine, giving out free crack pipes, condoms, and Narcan, is empty less than 24 hours after it was installed.
Whoa, who didn't see that coming?
The people who installed it.
Free drugs, paid for by the city. New York City's first public health vending machine that gave out free crack pipes, condoms, and Narcan, an overdose reversing drug, is already empty less than 24 hours after being unveiled by officials. The machine in Brownsville, Brooklyn, is the first of its kind in the Big Apple. The city's Democrats hailed it as a watershed public health moment yesterday, calling a press conference to tout their initiative and promise more down the line. To access the machine contents, residents simply needed to punch in the right zip code, and then they'll have free access to the strips, Narcons, condoms, tampons, nicotine gum, first aid kits, and the safer smoking kits, sanitary pads, vitamin C, and COVID-19 tests.
Wow. Okay, yeah, right. Here, come get your Narcan and your vitamin C. Don't forget your Gucci plugs.
And I tell you what would have happened? I can tell you what happened. A guy went in there. He was the first in line. He had a trash bag, and he punched in his code. He took everything out of that machine, all right, and walked down the street.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Just a carry bag. You know, he went there with a fucking caravan of trolleys.
Santa crack, Santa crack, Santa. Oh.
And right now, you can probably track him on Amazon selling nicotine gum.
Right.
And the rest.
And they thought this was a good idea. Boy, Mayor Adams and the mayor of Seattle they're just two peas in a pod.
Deck the halls with Narcan and butt plugs. Fa la 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 la. Awesome.
'Tis the season to get free drugs. Fa la 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 la.
Oh my God!
I warned you, man. I'm off my supplements. I warned you, man.
Oh, they're out of control, folks. They're out of control.
We were never in control.
That's true too. California insurance market rattled by the withdrawals of major companies. Really? Say it isn't so. Two insurance
do the
company
customary Hispanic gasp. Ready?
Two insurance industry giants, all right, have pulled back from California's home insurance marketplace, saying that increasing wildfire risk and soaring construction costs, the real reason, have prompted them to stop writing new policies in the nation's most populous states.
Well,
State
it's not just
Farm,
that. It's also that people don't like going to work and stepping on shite.
State Farm announced last week it would stop accepting applications for all businesses and personal lines of property and casualty insurance, citing inflation, a challenging reinsurance market, and rapidly growing catastrophe exposure.
Wow.
Yeah, it's called the DNC's policies.
Yep.
Yep.
Right, what it real is, what this, but see, this is what's happening in California. Newsom, all right, was living high on the hog, and I mean high on the hog, with the COVID money that was given to California.
Yep.
And how they were talking about how, oh, look at our state budget, because they were filling it all with the whole, all their spending was being covered by the federal government. When that stopped, when that federal emergency stuff stopped, California is now deeply in debt in the red. And they still haven't repealed any of their policies. For example, if you are a trucker, right, Maddie? You're a trucker and you try to go to a port in California, your vehicle better be electric.
Yeah.
Yep. And California won't stop with the craziness because they're getting free money. They're like Scotland in the UK.
Not for long. There's a world of hurt coming down in California because most of the Californians, they had a population decline. That's even with all the influx of immigration into the country, or into the state rather. They had a population decline.
Yeah.
A significant one.
I've heard of quite a few Americans that California used to be a great place to live until the end of the 70s, pretty much.
I think it was probably still pretty good until probably the 80s. It's after the 80s that it really went berserk. It started in the 70s, don't get me wrong, but it was after the 80s is really when it went downhill.
I think because I'd say up until, yeah, you're right, the end of the 80s. I remember people saying, I knew, who used to live in California, actually moved over here. A few of them were saying that California, nobody cared if you were a Democrat or a Republican, black, white, gay, whatever. You just got on with things.
That's not true, and that's the problem. Nobody cared. They cared. The Democrats, the gays, and the other ones. They were always plotting against it. All right. They cared that there were people who didn't think differently than they do, which is why California is the way it is right now. They may have said, "Oh no, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay." Look at what they've done. They infested the government. Then they started getting hammered. Look, I have nothing good to say about it.
What, never mention gay and hammered in the same sentence, please.
Whatever. Anyway, how many people saw this story? Office owners refuse to accept that their buildings are worth less. It means a commercial real estate recovery may be slower.
What?
Slower? Okay. This is what you call the signs of not a recession, but of a depression.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's when my mom was in real estate and she used to sell both commercial and residential real estate. It's real estate goes with the same economy as the rest of the world. As long as people are demanding stuff, you build it, you sell it, you make money. When people can't afford to, lease these buildings in order to do these businesses are going to sit empty. The more they sit empty, the less they're going to be maintained. The less they're maintained, the less value they're going to have.
Yep.
Okay. The commercial property investment volume plummeted in the first quarters. Owners haven't come around to accepting the drops in property prices. Bank of America analysts wrote, the stagnant market will only slow the eventual recovery. What this is pointing to, though, is when you mass print money like they have been, okay, people are now saying, wait a minute here, what is this really worth? Yeah. And when with the inability of the average American, because the way inflation has hit, keep their heads above water. What you're not seeing is people are not investing. And what I mean by that is America has always relied upon the small guy saying, you know what, I've had enough of this working for the man. I'm going to be the man and I'm going to start my own business. And I'm going to go
whereas
run
the
my
UK
own
is
business.
always,
Mhm.
whereas the UK has always relied on having a small, powerful military. So we run out of money, we just go and invade somewhere. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to say that.
But yeah, so that's all stopped right now because people are looking at the way the state of the economy is right now, and they can't.
I don't think
They
they understand
understand
how it
how much
works.
it's that much more of a risk. They can't afford to take that kind of a risk right now.
I don't think they understand how it all works. I mean, in very simplistic terms, any given country has a value, right? That value is what they use to represent, is what their currency is supposed to represent. You can print out more money. It doesn't change the value of the country. It just means that the money you've got in people's pockets is worth less and less.
Mhm.
It's like they did it in one of the Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy things, where the ancestors of humanity landed on Earth, and they adopted the leaf as their legal currency. So that meant that they had to go around destroying all the trees.
Mhm.
And
Well, it's
if
not
you,
like that. It's when the economy over there in Venezuela you started seeing it happen because people were making like paper crafts out of their money because their money wasn't worth shit anymore.
Oh yeah, that was Nazi Germany. Yeah, I've got a 1,000,000 mark note somewhere
Weimar
in the house.
Republic.
For
It
when
wasn't Nazi
I
Germany.
used
Weimar
I used
Republic.
I used to collect currency when I was a kid, and somewhere in the house I've still got a 1,000,000 mark note from the 1930s. It was basically worthless as soon as it rolled off the printing press.
Yeah. Well, and for people who still think that the economy is doing good in these areas, San Francisco Hilton investor will stop making loan payments. Downtown San Francisco has been dealt another blow after an investor in one of its largest hotels said it would stop paying its loans. Park Hotels and Resorts, the investment firm that owns Hilton San Francisco Union Square and Park 55 hotels, said Monday that it has ceased payments on the $725 million loan it took to reduce its presence in the city. The hotels have nearly 3,000 rooms combined. That's because these hotels no longer are making money. Why? Part of it is the economy, right? But it also another part of it is San Francisco is no longer, all right, a convention destination anymore. Why?
Nope.
No,
Because
because
right outside where the convention center is, you have to
shit.
literally step over people living in filth, living in feces, all right, and and basically as you step over them, you're lucky if you don't step on a freaking hypodermic needle.
And the other reason is nobody wants to go to a place where it's possible for them to catch leprosy. And I'm not joking there.
That's what's happened in all these quote wonderful cities in San Francisco, and this is what's causing people to leave California. All right, is that they turned it into a shithole. There's no jobs there. They're freaking leaving. And what's the result? You left all those policies that created this shit.
Yep. And they're trying to move to other states and try and get the policies reenacted in the states that they're moving to in order to make another state another shithole.
Yeah, that's why I call Austin, Texas, California Mark II.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the definition of insanity. The shit that you were leaving because it didn't work, you want to institute where you're going.
Well, you see, they didn't do it right in California.
Yeah, that would be their response, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go across the sea.
Right.
Let's go talk about the storyline that Batman's been waiting for.
Actually, yes, I have.
Syrian refugee screaming, "In the name of Jesus Christ," stabs a child in their prom in front of mother as 4 kids aged 22 months to 3, including a British girl, are knifed while holidaying at a
I don't
French
care about the
resort before
nationality.
cops shoot and arrest him.
Yeah, I don't care about the nationality of the kids being stabbed. It's kids being stabbed. That is wrong. That is horrific.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they hit him. They shot him twice, and each bullet went through it. Went through the undamaged testicle.
A Syrian refugee is screaming in the name of Jesus Christ as he repeatedly stabbed a toddler in his prom in front of his screaming mother in a frenzied attack at a French playground that saw 4 children knifed. The attacker, identified as Abdalmash H, all right, 31, clinched onto a necklace with a crucifix on it before he launched his abominable rampage at a lakeside park in the town of Annecy, right, a tourist hotspot in the southeastern of France, around 9:45 a.m. A total of 6 people, 4 young children and 2 adults, were rushed to the hospital after being hurt in the rampage, some of whom are fighting for their lives. French
It's
officials
horrifying.
say the attack does not appear to be related to terrorism. Then what the hell is it related to?
Insanity. I mean, he crossed over from Sweden into France to do this.
He didn't need to be arrested. He needed to be shot until he didn't move anymore.
Yeah.
Now, this is a picture of this guy. You can see him walking here, right, holding on to this. I guarantee you that this guy is a Muslim. He's wearing the headscarf. He's got the beard. He's got everything in it. He is trying to say, "Oh no, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian."
Hold on a minute. In this country, in the middle of summer, I've seen guys working on building sites with headscarves like that on and beards, and they weren't Muslim. So just for that, you can't call him a Muslim, but I do agree it's likely he was.
Okay, he's also a Syrian refugee.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's not just that, and that headscarf that he's wearing, that's not a normal headscarf. That's one of the Middle Eastern design.
Yeah, it's an Arabic headscarf.
Right. So I'm just trying to point this out. He might say he's a Christian just because of this. I think that this was a attack by an Islamist, all right, that are trying to defray the fact. Oh no. See, Christians do it too, all right, as a justification for their committed insanity.
Oh no, because I am looking up pictures of Coptic Christians, and some of them wear the headscarves too.
The Coptic Christians are Egyptian or Sudanese.
You get them in Syria as well. Syria used to be a predominantly Christian country until Muslim refugees came in I think it was the 40s. Got large enough to be a powerful bloc vote, and turned the country into officially a Muslim country.
Yep.
Well,
but
if this guy is a Christian, right? And since I'm willing to be wrong here, okay? What's he doing stabbing children?
First of all, there's a difference between a Coptic Christian and a Christian, because remember, there are many sects to Christianity. But to me, it doesn't matter the religion. Okay, you stab a child, you deserve to be killed on the spot. No trial, no hearing, no indictment, no nothing. Shoot him.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Because there's no reason on God's green earth why you should do anything harmful to a child. Period.
Matt, you're entirely correct. He should be crispy. They should have shot him with flamethrowers.
Just saying that there's this guy. Obviously, I understand the guy can be deranged, but this guy was specifically targeting children.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, he may have been deranged, but he was also trying to make some kind of political statement. He had to.
No, not necessarily. He's just deranged. And let's be fair here. Like Maddie says, there are many different types of Christian.
Then why did he stop at a school? Why did he go to a resort to do this?
Someone's mind cannot guess what insane people will do.
like Maddie says, there's different types of Christian sects out there. Even today, the Jewish Orthodoxy is persecuted in northern, in Europe, especially in predominantly Catholic countries, because they don't believe the Christians. The Coptic Christians face the same discrimination from every other Christian denomination. And add that to mental instability, and you've got that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, he should have just been put down like a rabid dog. You're laughing, and I'm not joking.
I'm not laughing about being a joke or not, because I don't disagree with you. He should have been put down. The guy's a threat to everybody. But that's that's neither here nor there.
Matt, you're wrong. Judge Dredd would have put him down like a dog.
This is another one that should be put down as far as I'm concerned. All right, California teacher on leave, only on leave, all right, for discussing adult toys and sexual pleasure in anatomy class. A California high school teacher has landed in hot water after she was allegedly caught on video telling students about sex toys and the role of the prostate in sexual pleasure. Judy Rehberg, a psychology and AP environment science teacher at El Dorado High School in Placenta? Placenta? All right. Was placed on administrative leave after parents complained about the footage shared online, the Orange County Register reported. District employees are trusted to exercise professional judgment when deciding whether or not a particular issue is suitable for study or discussion, said Alisa right, Griffiths, a spokeswoman for the Yorba Linda School District.
Who the fuck named a city Placentia? That's straight out of History of the World Part 1. What the fuck are we doing now? Okay, look, I'm losing my shit if they have one called Incontinentia.
All right, physiology. She's a physiology teacher. I'm sorry.
I don't care what she is. You don't teach
she's got the mad woman look on her, and I don't mean the person in the panel.
All right,
even that tortoise is trying to hide from her.
Yeah.
It's not a tortoise, but that's a separate issue.
That's a tortoise.
That is not a tortoise. All right, folks, we'll show you the screen.
It's a land-dwelling.
No, it's not. She's pulling that from a river. Don't you see the water?
Because she's been trying to drown it.
Whatever it is, it ain't happy. It's probably going, why this bitch holding me?
Well, she was talking about the sexual pleasure toys. It's probably going, I'm not Lemmy Weeks.
Oh, God, she's not related to that pretty mad woman who married the Eiffel Tower, is she?
Look, this one... Maddie, when you were going through high school, and I assume you went through high school in the United States, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And 12
Did you have a physiology teacher?
Nope. I had a 12-week health course on STDs and safe sex. And how to have safe sex. Not demonstrations, mind you, like use condoms, birth control, prevent sexually transmitted diseases, which turned into venereal diseases, which are now STIs because they keep changing names and shit, and I can't keep up with it. But
and you needed 12 weeks to learn this, right?
No, not really, because by the time you get to high school, you already know about that shit.
It's offensive to the people who have them to call them diseases.
All right, this woman is an environmental science and physiology teacher.
Good.
This woman in high school. This woman shouldn't have a job in high school. Nope. Okay, this is the problem. What they're doing with these people nowadays.
She should only have a job at
They're trying to expand these high schools to give more of these lunatics a place where they can do jobs because they couldn't get enough jobs for these Fruit Loops in frickin' universities and colleges.
Like I said, there are plenty of jobs at fast food restaurants.
I'm not going to go there.
I mean, people like her, the only thing they should be saying in their careers is, "Do you want fries with that?"
Yeah, you can't argue it.
Or do you want a vanilla or chocolate frosting?
Don't be asking. Never mind. I'm not going there. You guys are trying. On to the next story. Pride flag burned outside City Hall in Arizona. FBI investigate a bombing threat made to an LGBTQ-owned coffee shop nearby, according to the shop owner.
Bullshit.
The pride flag was taken down and burned outside City Hall building in Tempe, Arizona, officials said on Tuesday. The flag, which flew alongside the American and Arizona state and Juneteenth flags, was raised this month to commemorate LGBTQ Pride Month. City officials confirmed that the act of vandalism is under investigation by the police.
It's a flag. If you can burn the United States fucking flag, you can burn the gay flag.
And the Juneteenth flag.
It just means that, when you burn the gay flag, it's a little more flaming.
It's also a bit more... yeah, but you've got to admit, Maddie, when you burn the gay pride flag, the flames you get off it are fabulous!
Totally.
Look, my opinion of this is exactly what you said, Maddie. You want to play your damn games about burning the American flag and it's freedom of speech, and it's a freedom of speech for people to sit up there and burn the pride flag right in front of you. Yep. Now, as far as bomb threats being called in, no one should be sitting up there worried about bomb threats. But I'll tell you something that is very true. The bomb threats being called into places like Target and things like that were done by LGBTQ people. And when it comes to leftists making up bullshit, all right, when it comes to race or all these harassment claims and everything else they come back with, so many times, all right, it's found out when they actually find the perpetrator. Over half the time, when they actually find the perpetrator, over half the time, it is somebody that's doing a false flag attempt.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, otherwise, it's either that or it's an outright lie.
Now, they keep talking about all these hate crimes. Oh, there's all these hate crimes. All these unresolved hate crimes. But when they actually catch people in the act doing it, the majority of the time, it's a false hate crime. If that's true of the majority of times when they're caught, then I think that the majority of the ones that aren't caught would think would be the same, right? Either that or the bigots are really freaking more intelligent than the non-bigots are. Because they're able to get away with it.
You mean like all the swastikas that were drawn on that Jewish girl's dorm room? And it turned out to be her?
Yes. Or all the hate crimes that they were talking about in the University of Missouri. Remember those? Where it turned out that the guy who was on his, his hunger strike, he was one of the ones perpetrating it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's only a hate crime if they do it. That's their mentality. I'm not joking. Not found yet? There you go.
This one. This is how you drum up business, apparently. When you're a funeral director. Not enough funerals? Funeral home director allegedly guns down pallbearer during a burial of a 10-year-old girl.
Good God. I mean, the people are already dying to see you. What the fuck?
Oh. Maddie, you really killed that joke.
A Maryland funeral home owner upset with another company allegedly shot dead a pallbearer, all right, during a burial of a 10-year-old girl who died in a drive-by shooting in Washington, D.C. on Mother's Day. Ariana Davis, who was shot while asleep in her family's car on May 14th and later died, was being buried at Washington National Cemetery in Suitland on Tuesday when gunfire erupted. Wilson Chavis, all right, 48, owner of Compassion and Serenity Funeral Home, somehow I don't think the name fits, all right, allegedly killed Ronald Banks, 30, who served as a pallbearer at the funeral as a result of a long-standing business dispute with Freeman Funeral Services.
Have you seen his picture?
Yeah, we read
on the video link there. I mean, he looks like something you see after he fucking died.
I just
compassionate, right? I compassionately shot you full of holes until you were dead. I got you. I got
I
you.
mean, buddy, he looks like somebody who welcome to death.
This is not the picture of Serenity.
I'm gonna turn you into Swiss cheese, but I will do it compassionately.
Well, the compassion's
I
for the
feel
people who are
horrific
dead,
for this
Maddie.
poor family because they're busy trying to bury their daughter and they're grieving. The death
And
of
here comes this
the
idiot.
death of a child is horrific.
Yeah.
And you got
Yeah.
this guy shooting up the pallbearers?
Like, what the hell? I mean, people need to carry the casket somewhere. Fuck. Oh, sorry. Gallows humor. Sorry.
Okay. I came across this on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I saw that one as well.
I just keep time through this.
Well,
Obviously,
this is what happens
guy
when
is
you.
crashing into things because he's trying to run
Right,
from the cops. That car just
No.
got destroyed.
No,
Would you
No.
rip off a tire
Nomad.
like that?
Nomad, he's not trying to escape from the cops. This is what happens when Asians drink and drive.
No, this is what happens when Mizzy drives.
This is watch it. He hits that. All right, first of all, he hits the
Unfortunately,
cement
you
thing,
might be
but
right.
you ripped off an entire that's ripped
Yep.
off of the wheel, right?
Yeah,
That car
axle's
is
gone.
absolutely destroyed. I feel sorry if this was a robbery, right? And here's the thug running, right? And as you see, he turns around with a
Yeah.
what is it with the stupid extended magazine crap that these guys have on these weapons?
What is it with holding the
They
weapon
can't aim.
sideways? Why do they
They-
hold the weapon sideways as well?
They can't aim and they're stupid. There you go. I answered both of your questions.
So
When you can't
guys-
aim, you need a full extended magazine for the spray and pray thing. When
and
you're
of course
stupid, you hold it sideways because you think you look cool because you've been seeing too many gangster movies.
Spray and pray wouldn't work for me.
This guy's thinking
Maddie.
he saw too many gangster movies because he starts opening fire
Yeah.
at the cops here.
Maddie, spray and pray wouldn't work for me. I'm an atheist.
Now, I will admit, if you take a look at this guy's footwork, right, this is actually pretty impressive that he doesn't fall down,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Because he's running at a full tilt here, and he's moving back and so forth. And then we're gonna switch to the scene of this is boom.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, that went over him.
Oh, it gets.
Wait a minute. I got it. Goal! Oh, sorry.
Boom.
This is the worst part.
That other car goes over, literally. What? He's not getting up from that.
Nope.
No, he ain't getting him.
So
That's what I want to see happen to Mizzy.
Yeah. I don't think I want that to happen to anybody. All right, because that's just absolutely.
I want it to happen to Mizzy.
All right.
But I want
I
him
mean,
I want him to survive in hospital and fully recover. Because then he might learn his fucking lesson.
Nah.
Now that was pretty graphic. All right, display. When I was
Mhm.
looking at the Twitter feed, my curiosity after watching this, like, oh my god, was to see what people would say about it. And the things are like, well, why didn't the guy stop? Why did he have to run over him? If you follow the scenes of what was happening,
too
the
fast, he
one
couldn't
police
stop.
officer that actually hit him, that guy stopped. The other police officer was behind him, was swerving out of the way. Probably didn't even initially see him until he ran him over, right before he ran him over, and then realized, oh my god, I've already run over the guy.
Yeah, but
No,
what
no,
you
man.
don't
No,
see
man.
on the vid-
No, man. You're actually wanting these people to pay attention.
yeah, and you don't, Nomad, you don't see the bits of the video where what they don't show you is where the other car reverses over him 3 or 4 times.
Look, they talk about police brutality.
Then he
and
gets out of the
excessive
car and he
force.
jumps up and down on him.
See, that I would consider excessive force. Okay, but up
Then
to
they
that
both
point,
then all 4 cops get out of the car and start shooting him. Then they
we're
cuff
not
him and
trying
read him
to
his rights.
encourage this kind of behavior, Batman.
Then they cuff him and read him his rights.
Damn, by this time he's dead.
It's not their
By this
fault.
time, it's not even a human body anymore. It's
You,
by the
you
way,
have the
Batman-
right to remain silent. Which part of him? He's all over the place.
That's what the
Oh,
sponges are
oh,
for.
God, folks.
Lord.
Says
Dude.
this next story is Batman's got some explaining.
Rubber ducky, you're the one. Oh,
What have I got explaining to do?
Three men swept out to sea on giant inflatable duck.
Were they on? Hold on. Whereabouts in England? If that's from the south, I've got
Marine
nothing to do with
rescuers in England said a paddleboarder came to the assistance of 3 men who drifted out to sea on an inflatable duck.
Oh wow.
The Royal
Apparently they
National
weren't-
Lifeboat Institution's Appledore Station said volunteers were conducting a training exercise Tuesday when they received word that 3 men who had floated away from Westward Ho, a beach on a giant inflatable duck.
You just
See,
said
I
a
knew they
beach.
weren't-
You just said a beach on a giant inflatable duck.
I knew they weren't
Beach
Cuban
on
to be
a
able to steer that motherfucker back on
giant
his beach.
inflatable duck.
Yeah, Westwood Ho Beach on a
Okay,
giant inflatable duck.
Okay, whatever. I
There wasn't a
apologize if I
beach
screwed
on a
that up.
giant. Right. Oh,
A-
Bristol. Yeah, it's no to do with me.
A friend in a kayak attempted to push the duck to shore, but the unusual floating device was more than 650
Soon more
feet
than
from
650
shore.
feet from shore.
RNLI said that the rescuers were still on their way to the scene when a man on a paddleboard ventured out to tow the inflatable back to the beach. The paddleboarder
Wow.
was able to bring the duck close enough to shore for the 3 men to jump out and return to the beach. The inflatable was then blown back out to sea.
If it was me, I would have just gotten up on the into the lighthouse there with a high-powered sniper rifle and burst the duck. They were wearing life jackets.
All I have to say is they weren't Cuban. This proves they weren't Cuban because Cubans would have stuck a rudder on the back of that goddamn duck and taken it where they needed to go.
It also would have been 12 people, not 3.
If it was on the southeast coast, they would obviously be illegal migrants.
But don't worry, because the Chinese do it better.
Oh God.
Rubber ducks come back to Hong Kong waters. 2 giant inflatable rubber ducks are making a splash in Hong Kong's Victoria Harbor, marking the return of an art installation last seen in the city's waters a decade ago. These are some big ass freaking ducks.
Yeah.
Look at the size of these things.
Just you wait until you see the giant baby which is going to sit in the harbour and play with them.
The pair of yellow ducks titled Double Ducks and themed on the classic bathtub toy was created by a Dutch artist. I'm not going to butcher your name, Hoffman. All right, he has taken his installation on a world tour since launching it in the Netherlands in 2007.
What do you mean butcher his name? He's Dutch. He's already butchered his name.
The 2013 edition of the Hong Kong featured a single duck at 16.5 meters in height. All right, the current ducks measure a more impressive 18 meters each.
Yes, Matt, you're correct. Giant rubber duck is a sign of the apocalypse.
That's 60 feet in the air, folks.
It's a waste. That is not art. That's just copying a fucking toy and increasing the scale.
Rubber ducky, you're the one.
Okay, then, if you're going to play it that way, hold on, Nomad. If you're going to play it that way, Maddie, in the land where I was born.
Oh my god! Don't make me start muting you guys.
Shoot your ass.
You started.
Project organizers, all rights reserved, right, in a press release, have said that the pair of ducks bring to mind the Chinese character meanings happiness and friend, both featuring
they don't.
components
They don't.
next to one another.
They don't. They bring together the 2 Chinese characters that mean bath and bath salts.
Now, I want you to understand, this is from Kyoto News, right? Now, why is that important? Because this is the Japanese. This is a Japanese newspaper, their English version of it.
Well, the Japanese will be using this article to laugh at the Chinese.
I think that these rubber ducks are just, play toys for their Gundams that they're going to send over to China.
What do you mean? They're the hats that the Gundams are wearing.
This is the Mizzy story. This is how you deal with Mizzy, by
Oh, good grief! I just had a thought. Oh God, mobile
Wait.
suit gun duck.
the way.
Wait,
Almost-
Nomad. If Mizzy lived in my part of of England and he tried his shit, you wouldn't have heard of him. His videos wouldn't have gotten on TikTok because the first house he tried to walk into, he would have gotten beaten to shit.
Yeah.
And
After
you know what
his
the cops? You know what the cops would have said? Well, sir, it appears that this gentleman, when trying to escape from you when you discovered him burgling your house, fell down the stairs a few times, didn't he, sir?
this is how he fell down. Burglar beaten with barbed wire bat. After his
Let me
Minnesota
see.
home was burglarized last month, Blaze Smith anticipated that the intruder would return, so he left a window open and sat and wait, armed with a baseball bat that was wrapped with barbed wire and studded with screws and nails. The day after the April 15th break-in, cops charged Aldo Gomez, 35, returned to Smith's residence at the Eastwood Manor Mobile Home Park in Mankato, I don't know how to pronounce it, right? And climbed through the same window he had illegally entered the day before. But when Gomez got inside the home around 9 p.m., he was confronted with a 28-year-old Smith. Gomez fled the residence with Smith in pursuit. Outside of the mobile home, surveillance video captured Smith chasing and repeatedly hitting Gomez on the back of his head with a baseball bat.
So basically, dude went, I'm on Negan this shit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Oh,
impressed
Oh,
with.
fucking.
That reminds me of something that happened when I was a kid. The local school, for 8 or 11-year-olds, right?
Mhm.
Somebody got into it. Stole a load of shit there because this was like the early mid 70s, where teachers felt safe leaving stuff like the newfangled calculators in the classroom and shit like that because they were pretty much safe. Somebody gotten in, stolen stuff. The caretaker of the school decided, they'll probably be back. I know what I'm going to do. So he got this welcome mat, 2 foot thick, 2 foot square mat, right? And he inserted nails through it, long masonry nails, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he put it in front of the window they'd used, and they lay in wait. And yeah, they did come through. Yeah, they did impale their feet on the nails. And no, the police did not arrest him for it.
Yeah, when the cops arrived at Smith's residence in response to the burglary in progress, Gomez was sitting in the front yard and bleeding. Gomez, who lives a block from Smith at the mobile home park, was subsequently taken to an ambulance from a hospital. While being treated, Gomez reportedly admitted to burglarizing Smith's home on April 15th and returning the next day to take more items. He was arrested on a pair of felony burglary counts, one of which carried a maximum of a 20-year term. The guy, the blows left Gomez with a fractured skull, according to the court filings.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the guy was able to run after being beaten with his bat at all.
Right?
They will do a lot for you.
Goes
The
like,
funniest one I've ever heard of, this guy, he robbed his flat, right? Apparently, it was his first ever crime because he returned the following night and he returned all the fucking items he'd stolen.
Wow. There was,
Right?
I think it was in the 80s or the 90s. I was on the news. I remember because I was laughing my ass off. Because these 5 guys decided that they were going to coordinate a home invasion on this guy that was retired. I think he was all I said was he was retired at the beginning of the story. Turned out that the house that they invaded was the house of a retired Navy SEAL. He put 4 of them fuckers in the hospital and killed one.
It doesn't surprise me.
The only thought running through my head was somebody didn't do their homework.
It's like it was during I think it was the late 80s, early 90s. British politician called Paddy Ashdown, right? He was going home. These two jumped out of an alley, deciding to mug him. Then found out that Paddy Ashdown used to be in the fucking Royal Paratroopers. He kicked the living shit out of them. I think he was in his late 60s at the time as well.
It's time for the animal storylines. First one's a sad one. This seal was killed 3 months after being released into the wild. We're asking for help. Officials are looking for a person believed to have intentionally killed an endangered Hawaiian monk seal with severe blunt force trauma in Oahu,
kill
Hawaii,
an animal.
according to the announcement from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
You don't kill an animal unless you require the meat.
Or you're trying to save your life. The female juvenile seal named RQ-76, also known as Malama, was found dead on March 12th on a beach on the west side of Oahu, prompting an investigation into the cause of death. Hawaiian monk seals are one of the most endangered seal species, with only about 1,570 seals currently recorded alive. Endemic to the Hawaiian Islands, the seals aren't found anywhere else in the world and are protected under state and federal law. Look, why would you attack a seal? Unless the seal is attacking you, why would you attack the seal?
Yeah, there's no reason for it.
Yeah, like it says, unless you need the meat.
Yeah,
or the fur, right? I mean, people that do the fur seals, people do wear fur because of the
I'll qualify what
on those things.
Qualify what I said. If it's an endangered animal, unless you absolutely need the meat. If it's something like a deer, if you only kill it if you're going to eat the meat. I hate trophy hunters.
Yeah, I can't stand them either.
Well, there are other reasons for killing animals. If you're trying to cull a population, for example, that's destroying an area, right? That does happen, especially with deer in this country, right?
Yeah, but not with wolves, which is why I hate Sarah Palin.
Wolves. There are problems with wolves in this country, right? Not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not everywhere.
They're good at dodging bullets.
No, they wolves will devastate a ranch. They can absolutely devastate a ranch, and wolves, unlike many other carnivores, wolves will kill more than they eat. Most people don't know this.
How many ranches do you get in Alaska?
And that's not the only place wolves have been reintroduced.
Well, that's where Sarah Palin was doing a helicopter wolf hunting. Seriously, they hunt wolves with helicopters, and most of the land up there is wilderness. The only thing that wolves are endangering is an unlucky fucking deer or something.
No, the wolves will attack humans as well.
Generally, no, they won't. Most of the time, wolves will.
Generally, bears won't attack humans either, but they do.
Yeah, generally, wolves will avoid humans. The exceptions include if the human in question has a dog with them. Then they're not trying to attack the human; they're after the dog.
Not necessarily. The idea that there was always this idea that
I did say it generally.
Okay, there were these theories about that, but wolves, especially the reintroduced wolves, do not have the same kind of fear of man that the original wolves in these areas had. Okay, so they've adapted, all right, and you are possibly on the menu. And I'm not advocating trying to track things down with helicopters.
Most of them have, most of the wolves you're on about have been rebred and are partially domesticated. Because they have a problem in Australia. Packs of feral dogs in the outback. Feral dogs are far more dangerous than wolves because feral dogs aren't scared of humans at all, and they know how humans work.
Well, there's a lot of reasons
if you understand what
to be afraid of feral dogs. Matt, I have a soft spot for wolves. They look like my huskies. They do look like huskies. They're a beautiful animal. So are most seals.
Apparently, Wisconsin has a soft spot for wolves as well. Oh, sorry, that's a G spot.
Anyway.
Oh man.
Hey, talking about Whitney, Wisconsin, since I'm onto the sick jokes, do you know what her favourite song by Donny Osmond is? Puppy Love.
A bear attracted by the smell of dog food destroys the interior of a truck in Colorado.
Alrighty,
watch
here
this
we are in
story.
Evergreen. Got a bear.
And so a bear
He's
is
taken out the
apparently-
wheelie bin.
This is why you
Well,
don't leave your food outside anywhere where there are bears. Hello.
Well, don't leave any kind of food because the bear is. Look at this guy. He's going to go in there and go play tag with it. Oh, this is what's left of the vehicle.
Yeah.
There's barely
and there's
anything
the bear.
Bare face cheek.
I don't know. I don't know how brave I'd be to sit up there and open up a trap bear.
No.
Yeah, I know what my response would be. I'd be looking there and pick
Did you
out
see
the
the brake
phone.
lights
Hello,
go on?
hello.
The bear's getting
Animal
ready to
control.
take off.
Like, I'll be, dude, if you could start the car and get out of my driveway, you can have it. Like, it's all yours.
Luckily, the bear took
This
off.
guy-
It's also
the
lucky
pop-
that
the
the
pop-
black bear is a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Because a grizzly,
I'd say
grizzly
look at where that guy lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously used to dealing with bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
If
would
it
think,
probably
yeah.
been if it'd been a grizzly or something like that, he probably wouldn't have done what he just did. And also, that's a fairly young bear.
Well, fairly young, yeah.
You know what-
But
you know
either
what,
way,
if
I
I-
would not have. I would not have been one of the people opening up the things.
Yes, but you know, we can all agree. We can all agree that the truck barely escaped.
If I was an expert in genetic engineering, you know what you'd see happen, turning up in the Great North Woods, especially around populated areas. Genetically modified brown bears that have opposable thumbs and a penchant for wearing collars, ties, and green pork pie hats.
Oh.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you don't need to have. You need to make sure that there's not a CRISPR anywhere near Batman anytime soon.
Yep. Yes. Yogi Bear would become a new species of bear.
California researchers encountered an unusually large group of orcas. A marine researcher in California were treated to a
Hold on
unique
before you go on.
experience.
To any D&D fans out there, Nomad said orcas, not orcs.
All right. Treated to a unique experience when they came across an unusually large pod of orcas composed of about 24 killer whales. Michael Pearson of the Oceanic Society said he and his fellow researchers set out on a whale watching tour near the Farallon Islands and decided to deviate from their usual route as they approached the islands from the south. Pearson said the group spotted a blue whale and a pod of hunchbacks before he spotted an orca dorsal fin poking out of the top of the water. Researchers were soon shocked to be surrounded by up to 24 orcas, including several mother and child bears and multiple adult males.
They were in danger.
Yes, they were.
Orcas will capsize a boat and kill the humans in it for fun.
Yep.
Well, they've been on a spree down in the entrance of Gibraltar apparently.
Yeah.
They've had attacking yachts and stuff going on.
Yeah. Like Australia, there was a video I saw. They found something they didn't realise orcas did until recently because they were coming across whales. Sorry, it was Africa. They were coming across sharks. Sorry, not whales. Beached on the shore. They'd all had the livers eaten out. Then they discovered it's fucking orcas.
Yep.
They're like shark liver.
Yep. Wrecked boat in latest attack off Spain. Killer whales severely damaged the sailing boat off the coast of southern Spain, the local maritime rescue service said on Thursday, adding to dozens of orca attacks on vessels recorded so far this year on Spanish and Portuguese coasts. The early hours of Thursday, a group of orcas broke the rudder and pierced the hull after ramming into the Mystique on its way to Gibraltar, prompting its crew of 4 to contact Spanish authorities for help.
Yeah, they know what to attack. I mean, they
They're
wouldn't have
getting
attacked.
more aggressive, is what they're getting.
The rudder wouldn't have been destroyed accidentally. That's the thing. That was a deliberate attack.
It's a matter of the orcas have had enough of the hairless apes in their area.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
But they
And
know
the
what
sharks.
part of the boat. They know what part of the boat's to disable.
Yep. It's this is quite interesting just how bad this is. Okay, final story. Final.
Well, it's only bad from our point of view. The auto sync is brilliant.
Give him a little bite.
Final little thing here. And orcas.
It's TC.
Yes. These things are out of control now. Meth
What do you mean
squirrel?
now?
This is a meth squirrel, folks.
No,
No,
that's just
now
an
you're
ordinary
teasing the damn thing.
No,
That's
no,
a real
no,
life Hammy from over the hedge. He liked a cookie. Give him the cookie. He liked a cookie.
that's a typical arrogant, loudmouth American squirrel.
That is Hammy from over the hedge. You give him that cookie.
No,
Well,
it isn't. No,
I
you
hate
don't.
to say it, but if it's been nibbling on it, it can have it.
Yeah, no shit.
What you do is you grab it around the chest area, and you smack its head off the table until it doesn't move.
Look, these things can become rabid. You don't want to risk rabies, dude.
Okay, you put on some thick leather gloves on, and you pick it up by around the chest area, and smack its head off the table until it doesn't move.
But watch how this thing is twitching. This thing is on crack.
No, Matt's right. It's on meth.
Look at it.
Yeah.
This thing is on. I don't know what this is.
Once over, even grey squirrels would avoid humans. You can remember that time.
Yep.
Nomad, and I'm not making a joke about your age. It's just people are, oh, look, they're so cute.
Yeah, they're cute until they jump on your fucking arm and like bite through 4 of your damn fingernails and leave them bloody messes.
Yeah,
not that that happened to me because I wanted to hug one at the age of 10. I'm not saying that.
Yeah. And now, on nights of the full moon, Maddie goes through a horrifying transformation. Yes, she becomes a terrifying were squirrel.
I want all your acorns.
Yeah, and you thought she was nuts normally.
I mean, did you see the person trying to give it seeds and it was like, I'm going after the freaking.
Yeah.
It wants the cookie. It likes the cookie. It's a cookie.
That's the last story that I have for the day.
What you do? What they should have done? Grabbed it by the tail and used it like Thor's hammer.
You know, I'm getting the impression that you don't like squirrels.
Don't like squirrels that are trying to eat my food.
I
Okay,
don't
fair
think you need to be doing that to the poor squirrels.
Sean is Maddie Squirrel Girl.
No, she can't be Squirrel Girl. We like Maddie.
Oh my god. People are out of control. But that's the final story for the day. I hope that everybody enjoyed it. We're going to go ahead and end the stream, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye, everybody.
Yeah, go on. Sod off. It's over. You can go now.
And we're done.